So that's it. The deed is done. My fate is sealed. What am I talking about? Yeah, I've signed the documentation that means I'm basically retiring at the end of March. So the big question is, what next? It's pretty amazing how quick this whole process has come around. I've been thinking about retiring for a few months now, and then this opportunity arose, and I thought, why not? Did the calculations, give it a go, I thought. And then you get the documentation, it's all a bit of a rush, but it's like, oh my God, it's happening, people. But it does beg the question, now I've signed the documents and made it all official, what am I going to do? It's interesting, I got a comment on one of my videos earlier where I talked about, the decision coming round and stuff, and somebody pointed out exactly that very question. What are you going to do retiring that early? Although they got my age wrong. Point is, I am retiring in my 50s. And so, yeah, how am I going to fill the time? How do I stop myself from sort of falling into a stupor and having kind of no direction in life and all of that? One thing about work is at least it brings some kind of structure to your life. There is part of me that's beginning to worry about, okay, how do I stop my life sort of drifting off into kind of doom scrolling and doing nothing and not being fulfilled? I mean, I wanted retirement. This is what I wanted. But it does worry me. What do I need to do? What do I need to put in place to make sure that there's still, ironically enough, a sort of structure and direction in my life? I think if you retire just because you have to, because your health, then that's slightly different. Or you've just, the company's kicking you out because you're of retirement age. But I think if you retire early, on one hand, you're making that decision because you think, well, time is short and I want to enjoy myself. But on the other hand, ironically enough, time isn't short if you've got to fill it. And if you don't fill it, then is it a wasted life? So I'm beginning to think I need to start forming some good habits that will stop me from sort of falling into a stupor. Experience has taught me previously when I've been either unemployed or I was briefly, employed myself, that there were some days where I struggled to get out of bed. And I did feel a bit guilty that my life was wasting away a little. And so I'm conscious that occasionally you have those moments, even working from home occasionally, it's like, and I made a video earlier about, retirement isn't a holiday. Whenever you're on holiday, you're abroad and you think, oh yeah, I could live here. You've been there a week, wherever it is. You're on holiday. You're not doing anything. You're spending your holiday money on leisure. That's not a kind of permanent lifestyle. So we sometimes kid ourselves, when we're abroad or whatnot and going, yeah, I could live here. It takes a bit more than just that. So yeah, I'm thinking I need to start structuring my life, or at least preparing for that retirement. So it's not a shock. Initially, obviously, day one, no doubt, it'll feel like a holiday, no responsibility. I'll probably have lots of mixed feelings. And I'll make a video on the actual day that that Monday morning when I have no work, just to let you know how it feels, because I'm sure emotionally I'm not quite ready for it. Forming good habits, that's the key. And this is what this video is going to be about. Long way to get to it. But anyway, one good thing is that I'm recording this video. It's the end of the year, and it's that time of year that we start thinking about New Year's resolutions and all of that. And often that's just a sort of a token effort, isn't it? Thinking of New Year's resolutions. I mean, come on, who really sticks to them? Unless you're one of these sort of Sigma alpha males, hardcore, let's do it this year, come on people. The reality is, I'll give up drinking for a month or something like that, and then after a couple of weeks, you go, I'll just have the one or whatever it is. Or I'll start exercising and it might last for a week or something and then something comes along. But I think now I'm retiring in 3 months' time. I know that time is just going to whiz by. I mean, in a week's time, I'm off to Japan for 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks of my life gone, doing something exciting, albeit. But the point is, that's 2 weeks of my work life done and 2 weeks closer to that retirement date. So yeah, now is the time to start forming habits that will help me keep my life sort of structured. I'm lucky in a way that, well, some may say luck, some may say unlucky. I still have responsibilities. I've still got a kid in high school. I've still got, my daughter's finishing off university. So I still have responsibilities. I've got to get my kid to school on a regular basis, etc., etc. So I can't just bugger off to France, which is always sort of a bit of my ambition, or at least somewhere in the world, sell up the house, bugger off somewhere, cash in and all of that. I can't do that yet. I've still got responsibilities. I've still got the mortgage to pay and things like that. So I'm not in that situation where the world is my oyster entirely. A lot of the world is my oyster, just not all of it right now because of these responsibilities. And that's fine. And we can prepare for those plans when I don't have those responsibilities a bit further down the line. But for now, we need habits. We need structure. New Year is the perfect time to create genuine resolutions. And I've already started forming some of those habits now. So for instance, I'm really awful at doom scrolling at night, just going through my Instagram reels or whatever until I sort of get really tired, or sometimes not tired, and then suddenly it's 2 a.m. and I can't get to sleep. And then I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is grab the phone and all of that. Terrible, terrible habits. And it's things like that that will eat up your time and sort of make you a bit listless and seem like you're just wasting your time on these sort of social media apps and stuff like that. I've started at night, putting my phone away from my bed, out of reach of my bed, and within 2 days, it's already had a dramatic effect. My sleeping patterns have got so much better. I read now. I take a book to bed, remember those things? Books, those old-fashioned things, those bits of paper all bound together with pretty words on. Yeah, reading. I've taken to reading now in bed. And I think reading, in a way, even if you might be tired, helps sort of straighten the lines in your brain. And I think it just helps with the sleeping. Just a personal opinion, but I've no science to back that up. As opposed to the constant dopamine hits of doom scrolling on your phone and the blue light activating the brain. I think reading calms the brain down. So I've been doing that. I already have a reasonable exercise routine. I get up in the morning. I tend to exercise before work. I work from home a lot of the time, so that's quite easy to do. So I will maintain that aspect of it. What I really want to do is throw myself into kind of making more videos like this. And on my other channels, I have some other YouTube channels, and I want to make sure that that's structured. There's a great irony about me wanting to retire early and then suddenly structuring my work life around making YouTube videos. People might think, well, what's the point of retiring if you're just going to start working again? But the point is, the YouTube videos is work I enjoy, work I want to do. And I think that's the thing about retirement. I think you need a focus, you need a passion, a hobby, call it what you will. And that hobby could make you money or not make you money. That doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter. It should be something that you want to do. I used to mock older people working in their gardens all the time and think, God, gardening, that's boring, I'd never do that. Although I have been working on the garden now and then, and it's quite therapeutic actually. But the point is, I can see why people do that. It gives them focus, it gives them purpose. And this is the big worry I have. I think it's really important that you have a focus, that you have a purpose if you've got this time to fill. It could be traveling. As I said, because of the responsibilities I have right now, I can't just bugger off around the world and go traveling right now. I've still got a kid that I've got to look after and take to high school and stuff like that. And that will come down later in the line, that's fine. But for now, I want to really make a focus on making YouTube videos, doing the things I want to do, but making sure I have structure, but at the same time, I'm not caged by that structure, because otherwise then, it just becomes like a responsibility, like work or something. You want that kind of careful balance between structure and freedom. Not too much freedom that you kind of wander off like a lost balloon that's been let go by a child, but not too much structure that you feel the cage of responsibility crushing down on you. I think it's a balance. And I think I need to really think about how I'm going to manage that balance, what I'm going to do with my time so it feels fulfilled and not wasted, but at the same time, not too heavily structured that I can't keep up with the kind of structure and therefore become disillusioned, but B, don't feel crushed by the structure I'm going to put in my life. I just think you need a framework, a foundation, if you're going to do nothing, as it were, for a while. When you're not really doing nothing, you're doing something. But if you don't have that structure, that framework, I could see how you could easily, me personally, I could see how you could easily just sort of drift off into a kind of ennui, a kind of findicicle, as they call it. I don't want to use some fancy words. I don't want retirement to be that. I don't want my retirement to be a findicicle, you know, an end of cycle, an end of life. I want my retirement, the whole point of retiring early is I want it to be the start of something new, yeah? A new part of my life. Not the end of my current life, but a new part of a new life with new adventures. As I said, that's why I'm doing this early. That's why I'm retiring early. So I have the time to follow the passions that I want to follow and not just be sitting around at work waiting for that, oh God, I can't wait until I retire kind of feeling, because, you know, then it makes you question why you're working so hard and or doing all that. So yeah, habits. That's what I'm trying to start to form right now. A series of habits, of resolutions. I'm going to really be thinking about how this balance between structure and freedom and how I'm going to feel my retirement life and how it might feel. Obviously, I can't plan for everything until it actually happens. There are things and emotional feelings that you'll never know until you're doing it. You know, it's like rehearsing a play. You never know how it's going to go until you do it in front of a live audience. These are the things that I'm currently thinking about now. We've got a load of people coming up now, so I'm just going to stop filming for a second. Blimey. Come out for a walk. A quiet walk in the countryside. It's like blooming Piccadilly Circus, amount of people coming by. I guess it's that Twixmas period where people are a bit kind of lost of what to do between Christmas and New Year. Especially in the UK, we call it Twixmas. Well, maybe you don't. But it's that kind of lost period of time between sort of Boxing Day and New Year's Eve where you're kind of not sure what day it is, you're not sure what you want to do. You know, is it Wednesday? Are the shops open? All that. There's a whole kind of Michael McIntyre skit about it. And actually, interestingly enough, retirement may be a bit like that. It's like, what day is it? How do I know what day is going to be? At least with work, I go, right, yeah, Monday, take the kid to school, 4 o'clock, Monday meeting, you know, work meeting. There's certain signifiers that help me know what day it is every day, very structured. And interestingly enough, maybe that's the point, you know, with retirement. It's like, you know how you wait when you work, you kind of think, oh, I'll do that at the weekend. Well, when you're retired, you can like, no, why wait for the weekend? You can do it on a Tuesday, you know, be crazy, knock yourself out. You've got the time. It's those kind of adjustments, which I think are going to be interesting. Replacing the structure of work with the structure of your own passions and hobbies. That's going to be the real challenge. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to Japan, going to make some vlogs out there, do some filming, share my experiences. I hope you'll enjoy those. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see those. But I'll keep you up to date on how things are going, and my thoughts as I near retirement, as we have the countdown, the final countdown to retirement, and my thoughts, because already my thoughts have been up and down all over the place. And yeah, now I've signed and sealed the letter confirming that yes, I do want to retire. It's happening. It's irreversible. So I got to face the consequences of making that decision and work out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please hit the likes, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content just like this. And if you're new to my channel, then do me the great honor, please hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I upload videos just like this. Talking videos just like this, why don't you check out the videos right here? Hopefully I'm pointing in the right place. I think you'll like them. Thanks for watching.